Welcome to the Cricket Betting Podcast, episode 2 for Crick Stats. That's Crick Stats with a Z. I'm Ed Hawkins. This is the only podcast that tells you exactly what happens in the biggest cricket matches all over the world. We've got 4 games to find the best bets for you. Those best bets come at the end of the show, and they return profits this year of, let's say hello to Paul Krishnamurty, who is plus 14.5, is it, Paul? After 2 winners from last week's show. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, hi Ed, that's right, 14.15 on the year.
Lovely stuff. Richard Mann is plus 4.68. Got some good ones this week, Richard?
You know what? I'm pretty confident, actually. I'm struggling to keep the old staking down, so hopefully that's a good sign. There's so much cricket, isn't there, this week? I mean, it's a bonanza for us.
Big talk, bonanza of big betting matches, and we think we've got a really good handle on some of these games, and we are going to find the best bets for you. These are those games that we're talking about. So obviously England versus India, third test. It's from Lords. It starts from Thursday. Absolute cracker in store. West Indies versus Australia, another cracker, third test. Sabina Park from Saturday, under the lights with the pink ball. We've got 2 blast games in the T20 in the England, Derbyshire versus Worcestershire, and the Roses clash. Both of those are live on Sky Sports. That's where we're finding best angles for those games. So we've got teams, pitch reports, strategies, trades, in-play strategies, and the win rates for your players, all brought to you by CrickStats, brilliant cricket betting tool. Go and check it out at crickstats.ai. You can sign up there now. You can also get some access to free pages by players and teams to help inform your betting decisions. Also, please do sign up to our Telegram channels in the comments section below. The VIP channel is up and running. Pretty solid stuff so far. You can subscribe there and you'll get best tips, in play, pre-toss as well, all cross-checked by each of us on the Cricket Betting Podcast. Our in-play service on the VIP is turning over plus 5 profits so far. We start with good week, bad week. We always do. Paul, we have to say good week. Thank God for Paul Krishnamurty. Our free Telegram channel backed none other than Brian Mulder at 8-1 for top bat versus for South Africa versus Zimbabwe. He did all right, didn't he, Paul? Did you get what top up with about 50 odd?
Fifth highest score ever. You can't ask for more than that. You know, that was a good game. Sean Williams also won at 15-4 for Zimbabwe very easily. And obviously a good week on the best bets with the Shug McGill and Harry Brook getting 50. So hopefully more of the same.
Yeah, Mulder and Williams winning for your Telegram channel there. Richard, good week, bad week, better week coming up, though.
Yeah, some frustrating ones for me, particularly in the best bets. I put up Steve Smith LBW first innings in a test match and obviously copped in the second innings. John Simpson should have won, top Sussex batsman, but the in-play was really good for the test match, the VIP channel, but we got some really good trades up there. I mean, the runs trade that Paul was in charge of was a piece of art, Paul, so that kept me afloat this week.
Yeah, do check it out for all your in-play stuff. That's your VIP channel. Also, do please like and subscribe to the pod on YouTube, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. We're trying to give reasoned, well-researched analysis to make well-informed bets, and we'd like to keep coming back, but we can only really do that if you like us. Also, sign up to CrickStats to use their cricket betting data. Follow us on X at Cricket Betting, at CrickStats, at Paul Motti, and at Richard_Mann with 2 N's. Let's get a game on. Let's find some bets. It's England versus India. Thursday, Lords, 11 a.m. start. England are even money generally. India 6-4, Elaborate's Coral Betfair. The draw is at 7 with William Hill. England, as always, will try to make us look foolish by naming their team well in advance, but we'll give a crack at it. I've got Crawley, Duckett, Pope, Root, Brooks, Smith, Stokes, Atkinson, Wokes, Archer, and Tongue. I think Bashir is going to get the hook. Richard may well disagree. We'll discuss it. India, Jaiswal, Rahul, Nair, Gill, Pant, Reddy or Sai Sudarshan, Jadeja Sundar. Jasprit Bumrah comes back. Akash Deep forming a ferocious new ball attack, one that England didn't see coming, giving them trouble. That is potentially series decisive, that new ball pairing. Siraj finishing it off. Pitch report coming in a second. Richard, state of the series, please, from an odds perspective. And, you know, the Bumrah Deep axis now looks troubling for England.
Yeah, troubling is probably the best way to describe it. England are in a bit of strife now. We've got 3 tests to go, and we know we're going to get Bumrah for 2 of them, who is England's chief tormentor. Akash, what a find he's been, and he's going to bowl well in English conditions, particularly at Lords with that slope. He can nip it about both ways. India would have had doubts about coming to England about their top order, minus Kohli, minus Rohit. Not a bit of that is there. They looked completely dominant, and suddenly it's England with the problems. The bowling just looks tepid. If they ask for flat pitches in this hot weather we're having, they've no spinner really to exploit that in the 3rd and 4th innings. They don't look to have the craft and guile in the seam attack to do that. Talk that they might ask for a little bit more sporting pitch at Lords. If they do that, it brings Bumrah and Akash into the game. And England's batting Bazball is all about crash bang wallop on flat pitches, and if they move away from that, it's a real gamble at 1-1. So I think England are the team with most to chew on at the moment.
Paul, view on those match odds?
Well, I've got to agree. I'm quite cold on England now. I always thought that India would come more into this series as we went on, and they're 1-1 now. So my 3-1 bet, although it's still alive, I'm a little bit sceptical, and I'm thinking of having 3-1 India now as well as the cover. So whoever wins, because I definitely think there will be a result in this match. I think that I understand why the draw is only 7-1 after the first 2 games. It went late, went a lot shorter, but everything you're hearing about the pitch says that this is a result pitch. It's going to be a lot more bounce, a lot bit of sideways movement, and we know what happens at Lords. Mainly all the recent games, you've had very low first innings scores, and the draw's out the equation immediately. So for that reason, I'd have to go with India really at about 2.5, 2.6, and I'd say probably I think 12-1, about 3-1 India now is the bet.
Yeah, sure. Surely very hard to see India not winning at least another test when they compare Akash and Bumrah. Akash now in number 3 on the lowest average of new ball bowlers since 2024, and just getting movement which England could only dream of. Richard, who wins the game?
I'm leaning towards India at sort of what are the 6 to 4, 13 to 8 mark. The only thing putting me off is Lords if you get put in at the wrong time. And the fact that it's Bazball and you might be able to bet contrary and get bigger. But I'm definitely leaning towards India. The other guy you didn't mention there, Siraj, picked up 6 wickets in the first innings, goes under the radar, is in the shadow of Bumrah and obviously now Akash, but brilliantly. None of England's seamers look like picking up 6 for 70, and he managed it. Suddenly it's looking like a much stronger Indian attack.
Let's look at this pitch data for Lords. Paul's quite right. You don't really want to be batting first next. Your first innings batting average per wicket is 26.5. But the warning there from the Bazball era is that by the 4th innings, that jumps, and it sure does jump to 34.4. Gone are the days when we talk about, just lay it aside, batting last. Goodness me. 5 of the last 8 have been won by the side batting first. Scores of 2-1-2, 4-2-7, 1-2-1, 4-1-6, 1-7-6, 1-6-5, 1-3-2, 3-6-4, 3-7-8. With one draw in the last 9. That's a 5-year study. Those are first innings scores. That's 5 scores under 2-1-3. I'm going to tee up Paul for pitch possible bets.
Yeah, well, you just read them out. I think you've got to look at unders. I think the market is bound to inflate runs after what we've seen so far, especially from India. But we know what happens at Lords. Back in under 275, back in under 250, that's paid well in recent years, consistently at good odds. And also some long shots here. I mean, 40-1, no 50 by either team in the first innings. 100-1 in the whole match. 20-1 in the first innings. for either team, or 40-1 each team. So maybe they're back England. 40-1, no 50, 100-1 for the whole match for either team. No 100 in the match, 7-1. Right, that's much bigger than usual, and it has happened there in recent times. I would also look at my test match end market. Here I like day 3 p.m., day 3 evening, 16-1, day 4 a.m., 11-1. You know, that's a fast, low scoring game for you.
Is that with Paul, those test match ends?
Bet365. Bet365.
Terrific stuff. Rich, anything from you?
Well, I want to talk. I think it'll be a better pitch than Paul's reasoning. I just think it'll be typical Lords. I think it'll look green on the first day. We'll get a low first inning score, and that's what I'm worried about. Who bats first? It could dictate the game. Suddenly, we think it's a massive unders play, and then it'll just get better and better. Particularly looking at the forecast. I mean, at the moment, and we don't always trust the weather forecasters, but at the moment, it looks brilliant. Even if there's grass on that pitch, you get 3 or 4 hours of the sun that we've been seeing, and it will just burn off. And then we know underneath it's a good pitch for batting. That World Test final, South Africa, 2-8, 2 for 5 in the 4th innings. All through the match, it looked impossible to bat on, and then you got to 3rd and 4th innings, it just got easier. So I disagree a bit with Paul that I do want a little bet up, though, that I'm pretty keen on. I'm kind of getting obsessed with this next method of dismissal market, individual players. But Ollie Pope, 97 dismissals in Test cricket, 27 bowled, that's nearly 28% bowled. But against India, he's played 15 games and he's been bowled 8 times. And he's been bowled in the last 2 tests as well, 1 in each innings. That'll be going off 9-2, 5-1. I think Bumrah, we know, just hones in on the stumps, will be a massive threat. And I think Akash here on the Lord slope, if he bowls at the right end, I think he'll just go through Ollie Pope, and I worry for Ollie, actually. And if we can get sort of 5-1 next method of dismissal bowled, I'd be surprised if it doesn't cop once in the game.
We'll talk about that slope and what Bumrah and Akash are going to have a fight over in a bit. Any nuggets or anything to add, Paul? You can say pass if you want.
No, I'm not actually disagreeing with you, Rich. I do agree that the pitch will get better, right? And we'll see the usual Lord's characteristics, but we could still get a quick game there, because I think whoever bats first is in a lot of trouble, right? Now, you could easily build out for 140. The next one's a quick 320, and the game's over in 3 days. One market there that interests me: England's first 15 overs under 64.5 with Paddy's 10-11. That's pretty high, isn't it, given the quality of India's new ball pairing?
Yeah, very. Rich, any more angles or nuggets?
Well, 3rd and 4th innings runs, I'm going to keep the faith. Just going back to what Paul said about runs, it's really hard at the moment. Long range weather forecast, a reasonably long range, it looks beautiful. But when it's this hot in England, we're never too far away from a thunderstorm, are we? And look, if those clouds rolled in and the lights had to come on for a few hours, it can be impossible to bat here when the lights come on, and if there's a storm brewing. So just keep an eye on conditions. Forecast could easily change.
Let's talk in-play angles. I'll get some views from Paul and Rich. Just a word on Pope from me. In an absolute ideal world, you want kind of Pope coming in late in the day, so you get 2 bites at the cherry by shorting his runs, because he's got to be one of the worst starters you've ever seen at this level. So if India don't get him in the final session, they may well get him in the first session and very early as well. And that happened in the 2nd innings. Edgbaston, don't forget, he averages 19 in 2nd innings in Test match cricket. So he's very much a fair weather player. Paul, anything in play?
Well, just building on what I said before and what Richard said, I think with Lords, you've very much got to be watching. You've got to see what the overheads are doing. You've got to see what the pitch is doing, because it goes both extremes. I mean, I would imagine I will definitely be putting up some runs bets in play. Probably it could be either extreme unders or extreme overs. As I say, in the first innings, it will probably be unders. But let's wait and see, right? Let's wait and see, because it is that point where you see the pitch change and suddenly get better, and then suddenly it's runs galore.
I'm pretty sure we're all keeping our fingers crossed that England have to bat first. But Richard, anything from you? Stokes against spin, is that something to look out for? Perhaps if he's set, that pitch has got better, and then India go two ends spin.
I mean, it's Stokes' play against spin over the last 2 years, absolute car crash. I thought he played pretty well against the seamers and he got a brilliant ball in the first innings, but he's not improved against spin. But I don't think many of these have. That's another argument against Brendan McCullum from me, but I'll leave it there. Interesting, Kuldeep could yet come into the mix. I'd be surprised if they wanted to change the ball in attack other than Bumrah, but look at the forecast. It could be raging hot, and they may decide to get him Jadeja, Kuldeep against Stokes, and a few of the others actually in the England lineup. And then look, if Kuldeep played and he got third and fourth innings, he'd be my top bowler pick for Indy because he'd be a big price comparative to Bumrah. And he's just a wicket taker.
Yeah, a reminder that the Telegram VIP channel is up over 5 points on in plays after just 1 week. Let's look at top bats and bowlers to follow. We'll split them for England and then India. Here are the stats for England which count. So if Archer does come back into the team, it's 3 wins in 13 in Test cricket, but those are 13 tests are quite a long time ago. It's 3-1 with Star Sports for first innings top bowler. Co Atkinson, if he comes back, he's got 19 wickets in 2 tests at Lord's, 3-1 Ball Sports, Star Sports, Sky Bet, Paddy Power. 2 wins in 12 for him. Duckett averages 71 in 4. You're getting 92 generally with Duckett, but it's not win rate value. Root averages 69 in 8, but 72 generally is absolutely nowhere near. He's dipping below 16% on that 2-year win rate. And Pope, well, look, he's 15-2 generally, but he is the win rate bet. But I don't think many people are going to be taking that 15-2. That is out by some margin, Pope. As I said, he is a fair weather first innings player, and he is winning for you on top bat 18%. So 15-2 is chunky, but people are basically tired of Pope. Paul, any players to follow?
What I was saying before, I think that unders is the way. I think that if you look at Bet365, they do total match runs for players. This looks very high compared to other firms. Like Jaywell is 80.5 runs, total runs for the match. But with most firms, it's only 31.5, 32.5 for the first innings. So that seems too high. Again, I would go Ollie Pope under 66.5. And I could even back under. I like Ben Duckett, but against that new ball pairing, I could go under 80.5 in the match for him.
Rich, anyone for you?
Well, I minded to stick with Richard Mann to make a 50 and potentially a ton if I thought the weather looked decent. It's 2-1 to make a first innings 50. He let me down badly at Edgbaston, but to me, he just paid Shoaib Bashir no respect. And fell victim. And then in the second innings, he was back on track with 60 odd. He's still got a phenomenal record in England, hasn't he? 400s from 11 games, 2 in Leeds. I think he's very solid. And look at Ravi Jadeja, either in running or maybe to make a 50s around the 5-2, 11 to format. He's up to number 6 now. He's just very, very solid. Almost batting for himself, but that's fine for what we want. A couple of 50s at Edgbaston just looks rock solid. Got a solid record in England. He's just solid. I keep saying the word, but Jadeja sort of 5-2. And look, it's a middle order ground. We've seen it so many times before. Middle order players have done well here. Darryl Mitchell, Tom Blundell, last year Kamindu Mendes. So number 6 at Jadeja, he's definitely one to keep an eye on. I'm not too sure where to go about England. I mean, Paul's been banging this Harry Buck drum and it's been paying off for him the last few games. I kind of wonder if his luck might run out. He had a lot of luck at Leeds, Paul, didn't he? I mean, he was out off a no ball early on, and I just kind of wonder if we might be nearing a low one from Harry. On form, he's the one for England, but I'm going to give him a swerve this week.
India, Bumrah has 6 wins in 8, 15-8 with Sky Bet Paddy Power, biggest by some margin, but presumably he gets to bowl downhill and make Akashdeep bowl uphill, or does Akashdeep come on after Bumrah and use the slope and not waste him uphill, make Siraj do all the work? Gill 7-2 generally. We've got to mention him because England can't get him out. And just a spot for me. I thought Karen Nair looked big at 7-1 with Bet Victor. He's had some starts and just needs to get his head down. Paul, any players for you?
Yeah, I just said 3 unders. Pope, Duckett, and Jaywell, all under match runs.
Of course you did. Richard, any India players for you? I should have caveated it.
Oh,
No, I'm happy with those. Jadeja looks very solid to me, and Richard Mann. Paul's just worrying me about first innings weather and pitch conditions betting the milestones, but I'm going to stick with those, I think.
Righty. Remember, best bets from Paul and Richard come at the end of the show. Don't miss them. They do return profits over the years. We've still got some T20 blast spots for 2 live TV games. West Indies versus Australia is coming up any second now. Subscribe to that Telegram channel in the comments below. We will be covering England versus India in play. One of us will be online watching, betting, advising. Let's move on to West Indies versus Australia. Saturday, Sabina Park, a day-night test, 7:30 UK time is the start time. Pink ball, West Indies 5-1, Bet365, Unibet, Triple A, Australia 4-1 generally. The draws 12s of Will Hill, Bet Victor, and Betway. Australia, I'll give you their lineup in a second. Let's do West Indies first. Brathwaite and Campbell. This could change. And then at 3, it could be Imnat, Carty, Lewis. Then King will hold on to his spot. Hope has been looking reasonably good in the middle order. Chase, Greaves, Joseph Shamar, Phillips, Anderson, Phillips, Seals. Australia, Khawaja, Constance Green, Smith, Head, Webster, Carey, Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood, Lyon. Australia unchanged. We'll do the pitch report in a second. Paul, backing West Indies, yes or no?
not. I could make a case for them as a trade because I can't see this being a draw under any circumstances, and they have been sort of competitive for most of the games so far. But I do think Australia will win quite comfortably.
Rich, West Indies have been a first innings team in the series so far, but they've fallen away. The pitch has just got them in the end. Need to bat first, don't they?
I think it would help as well, and you probably get best conditions as well if you think about the day and night as well, batting in sunlight. I think this has been a terrific watch, a terrific competitive series. I've actually found this more entertaining actually than much of the England-India stuff because the bowlers have been really in the game. It's been a real challenge. And West Indies have shown up well, better than I think many people would have expected. Cracking seam attack they've got. But Australia's 3 paces, as I'm sure we're going to find out in the winter, they just take some stopping, don't they? And again, I think they'll just win out for Australia in the end.
The Sabina Park then, only 3 tests in the last 5 years, all results. Average runs per wicket of just 21. Highest score in those 3 tests in all innings is 302. We're absolutely itching to get unders on runs, I suspect. And just a point on day-night games. Is it harder to bat? Yes or no? We think it is. And by, well, not a huge amount, 24.8 is your batting average in day-nighters. And then in tests over the same period from when day-nighters started in 2015 with the same host, so excluding countries which have not hosted a day-night test, the batting average is 29.4. So there is a noticeable dip. Paul, I mean, you want West Indies to bat first, don't you? And then when the lights come on, it's a big short in play. Is that right?
I think it's a pre-match big short, to be honest with you. I mean, everything about this says low runs. One, it's a night game, but look at the recent matches there. 5 of the last 8 innings here were under 200. 9 of the last 12 were under 250. West Indies lost to Bangladesh, right? And well, I just think, I mean, even in this scenario, the runs have generally been overpriced so far. I mean, one's better spotted here as well was 9-1, no Windies 50 in the match. Landed in the first match. They only got 1 in the second match. It's just the wrong price, whether it wins or loses.
Right, that's a great spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrific. A nugget from Richard.
Well, I'm like a broken record, but Steve Smith, LBW next method of dismissal, copped in the second innings of the last game, so he'll be on my radar again. These just pitches are just low, aren't they? And teams are bowling straight and bringing the pads into play. But probably more interesting is Roston Chase, LB next method of dismissal. Both innings in the last test, he was LBW, and one of the two in the previous test. So 3 out of 4 LBW. And those Aussies, when they get a sniff of something, they just keep honing in on it. I've got some 5-1 yesterday. Chase next method of dismissal LBW, and I'll be sticking with that method.
We'll just talk about some in-play stuff now, just some general points about this series so far. About 25, 30 overs time, it has got easier to bat in the first two tests. We'll keep an eye out in first innings. We're not going to just follow that blind again because it's obviously a different pitch. Shortening the opening partnership, though, has been a strong first port of call. Do bear in mind you're paying very cheap on West Indies, and indeed paying very cheap on some of these West Indies top four to go unders on their runs, but because they're just not very good, unfortunately. So like somebody like Campbell, you're shorting at 11.5, so you could be on the wrong end of a couple of inside edges or outside edges for 4 through the slips or what have you, and then he could be out, and you've basically got it right, but you got it wrong. Constas, that back foot, I'm pretty convinced it's very, very close to taking a few inches towards leg stump. He's falling over anyway, so Richard Mann's next wicket of dismissal, caught behind, is very much on. He's falling over to the offside, so his head's not in line, and he's getting nowhere near it with his bat, so just keep an eye on that one. PK, any spots in play for you?
Well, I think, you've got to probably utilise this low run situation. So I think if Australia bat first, there's a very good chance that they won't make 300. That's what the stats say, and haven't batted very well so far. So that might be a good time to get on them because their price will drift. And likewise, as we said with Australia, the top order is just rubbish at the moment, but the middle order is outstanding. That's their team. So it's exactly that. Just short them at the start and then back them when Smith gets in.
Richard?
Well, I just want to build on that because I don't think it's a good ball that they use in the day-night games. And I think if you're batting in the day, and once that new ball goes soft, I think there are runs to be made. Perfect scenario for Australia runs then, if you wanted to back overs, would be they lose a few wickets like they have done, and that middle order comes in when the sun's out. You've got a few hours before the lights come on. And Travis Head and Carey and Webster can cash in. I actually wouldn't be as against runs as Paulie because I think Australia could finally make 300 in the right conditions. It's all about getting those right conditions. You don't want to be batting under lights, but if you're getting in the day and the ball gets soft, I think it's pretty easy work. I wouldn't say the same for the West Indies because they're just not very good. But I think Australia can show up a bit better with about myself, just in the right conditions.
Yeah, West Indies does look a cast iron sail. Let's deal with players to follow, and there's only really one man to start with. It's Mitchell Starc, the day-night destroyer. No one's taken more wickets than Starc with the pink ball. No one's got close. He's won 6 out of 13 on your first innings top bowler with the pink ball. You'll get 11-4 with Star Sports Sky Bet. Your Bet36 performance line is 126.5 overs under. He's averaging 142 with the pink ball. And Richard's just mentioned him, actually. Travis Head is your top run scorer with a pink ball. So he's 4-1 for top Aussie first innings bowler. That's with 10 bets. Let's talk about Shamar as well. I know Paul wants to talk about Shamar Joseph. Wrecked Australia in that day-nighter, of course. Famous win, 7 wickets. Australia chasing 2-1-6. You get 11-4 Betfred Star Sports Sky Bet. Paul, players.
Okay, so first of all, Shamar Joseph, as you mentioned, not over 99.5 player performance. Last 3 results: 153, 232 v Australia, 124 on this ground, and previously against Australia, 166 and 151. Alex Carey, top bat at 9-1, first innings bat. That's just the wrong price. He's won 2 out of the 4 so far in this series, playing superbly. You've got to back surely under 46.5 match runs for Craig Brathwaite if he plays. Highest score of the series so far, 7, really struggling. I also think he's worth taking on with John Campbell in a match bet 11-8. I'd have Campbell slight favourite. And finally, man of the match, I want an Aussie bowler. You mentioned Mitchell Starc as a day-night specialist. He's 10-1. You can also get 10-1 against Josh Hazlewood, whose last 4 matches against West Indies have yielded 4, 5, 7 and 9 wickets.
And Richard.
Well, I mean, you guys have covered it. Stark just unbeatable with a pink ball. Carey looks well, he looks great value, but he's definitely an overs playing running as well. If you're not keen on betting in that particular market, just about Shamar Joseph as well. Just a general point about this player performance market. What makes someone like him so appealing is that he can bat, but you know he's going to bat twice as well because they're so poor that they're going to need him both times around. Great example at Leeds in the first test. Bryden Cass had a really good game, capable batter at number 8, but didn't get in the second innings for England because obviously strong batting lineup and they did well, and that cost him that market. Whereas when you're in the poor teams, you get 2 bites of the cherry. So Josephine, that looks a great bet to me. And then Paul mentioned it last week, the old lower order strategy with the West Indies top batsman market. Throw a few darts down the order, particularly in the second innings.
Right, which of those make it into the best bets? You'll find out in a minute. A reminder that the VIP bets channel will be up and running for in play for West Indies versus Australia. Subscribe in the comments. Now it's T20 blast time. We've got 2 live games on Sky. Eagle-eyed Richard Mann has been using the Cricket Stats tool to find value. Let's find out what his top lines are. We'll start with Derby versus Worcester. This is Thursday. What is it? 18:55 live on Sky Sports. That's probably the channel start time. Richard, what have you got?
Yeah, good place to bat Derby. So the Derby Worcester game, if we can get it, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a both teams to score 170, 180 game. Lancashire made 240 here early in the season. Derby inconsistent, but the hammered Yorkshire at the weekend. Anya Donald blasted 85 from 30 balls there, and he's actually won 2 out of the last 3 top bats for Derbyshire. He's still 4-1. He opens with Caleb Jewell. People remember him from the Big Bash. But player performance, look, the Cricket Stats tool is just fantastic for this. It's just genius, really. Samit Patel still going strong and averaging 45.4 player performance points in the last 10 games. As for Worcester, look out for Adam Hose. He's just an exceptional young batsman. A lot of time for him. But in the old player performance again, Ben Dwarshuis, another Aussie, he's having a great season, leading wicket taker for them. And his player performance average in the last 10 games is 46. Player performance markets have him at around 35, so he's a definite buy. Yeah, interesting game. Both teams to score 180 if we can get it, but do keep an eye on those player performance markets.
And what you got for the Roses clash, Lancashire versus Yorkshire?
Well, I mean, look, Yorkshiremen like myself, I should be very loyal to the Yorkies, but I think they've got absolutely no chance here. Lancs look really strong to me. York's poor despite having some big names. I think this is an easy win for Lancashire. I'd have it in my multiples as well. Player performance, really interesting. I know you've been banging the Milan drum. He's averaging 38 in his last 10. He'll probably be a buy at that. Don Best, very interesting, averaging 41.80. And Old Trafford can spin as well, so I keep an eye on Don Best. For Lancashire, Keaton Jennings 45, Luke Wood 41 in the old player performance. Liam Livingston's in there, Josh Butler's in there, Phil Salt's in there. But the main man this season for the player performance points, Jimmy Anderson, 52.40. He's been the standout bowler in the competition. I don't think they'll get his line anywhere near high enough. In terms of the top bats, Keaton Jennings is opening, he's captain. Butler is definitely batting number 3, so when he's priced up at 5-2, be aware that he won't open. Jennings might be the value at 5-1. He's in really good form. As for Yorkshire, keep an eye out on Matt Mills. Willow Roke has been dominating the top Yorkshire bowler market, the New Zealander, but he has gone home, so be aware of that. In terms of batting for Yorkshire, I'm a big James Wharton fan. He's topped 2 out of the last 4 games for Yorkshire. He's just pipped at the weekend, and he's been going off around the 7-1 mark. So James Wharton might be some value in that market for Yorkshire, but it's a game that I think Lancashire will ultimately be too strong in. Big names galore for them.
1900 on Friday, also live on Sky Sports. This is the Cricket Betting Podcast, and is this the best bets for episode 2, week 2? Yes, it is. Are more profits on the way for PK and RM? Sure thing, of course it is. Paul, you got 2 winners last week, so you can go first.
Okay, right. So first of all, I'll split 1 point, half a point each. Test match end, England, India with Bet365. Day 3 evening, 16 to 1. Day 4 AM, 11 to 1. I'll have half a point on no West Indies 50 at 9 to 1. I'll split a point on man of the match, West Indies, Australia. Half a point Stark 10 to 1. Sky and Paddy Power. Half a point on Hazelwood, same firms. And then, that is 1.5, 2.5 points. I will have 1 point on under 275 first innings runs, whoever bats first, England, India. And then I will split 1.5 units 3 ways. Shamar Joseph over 99.5 is the banker in all of them. And I'll have under 80.5 Yashasvi Jaywell runs, under 66.5 Ollie Pope runs, and under 80.5 Ben Duckett runs. Sorry for the very complicated list.
I should have said get your pen and paper ready. Get your pen and paper ready. It's Richard Mann.
Can I just add, though, this is why we've got the free Telegram group now, because we'll list all these bets. Paul can write them out, though. I'm not doing it this week. But that is why we have the free Telegram channel, free to join. And we do list out all the best bets, and there's a few more that have gone in there as well. I mean, Paul's banging in winners galore. I got one in the blast at the weekend. So do join us there. Right, my best bets then. England, India. I'm going to have half a point Richard Pant, first innings, 50 at 2 to 1, and half a point Richard Pant, first innings, 100 at 5 to 1. Same game, half a point Ravi Jadeja, first innings, 50 at 11 to 4. And then a 2 points double in the blast on Friday. Lancashire to beat Yorkshire, game we've just featured, and also Surrey play Glamorgan. So 2 points double, Lancashire and Surrey. Leaves me with a point over for the West Indies Australia Test match. And I'm gonna have half a point in each innings. Lost and Chase method of dismissal to be bowled, half a point each innings. And that is me done and dusted with 5 points.
There you go. We are the Cricket Betting Podcast for Crick Stats. Go and check out crickstats.ai. That's Crick Stats with a Z there. Please subscribe and like on the pod provider of your choice. Win in play on the Telegram channels. You can subscribe in the comments below, and we will be back next week for more what happens in the biggest cricket matches of the week. We'll see you then.